Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyzEntertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by our special guest, Mad Ruth. How's it going, man?
Hey, not too bad. How are you doing?
Good. So good to have you. I see you all the time in streams and everything, and it's like, damn, I don't think I've ever seen you live.
Yeah, no, I didn't really start streaming until I was ready to launch my book. I retired from my job. I was in the military for 26 years.
Whoa.
So yeah, for the last 2 years, I was just sort of laying low and making this book. But I retired just in June. So pretty much I started streaming recently.
Dang, so that's really recent then.
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh, it's my honor. Yeah.
First off, how did you come up with the name Mad Ruth? Was that a nickname you got from military?
No, actually. So my old Star Wars Galaxies and my very first Xbox, my name was Mad Kadar, and also on my email addresses. And then when I started playing Star Wars: The Old Republic online, and I upgraded my Xbox, I named it Ruthakar. So my YouTube name was Mad Kadar Ruthakar. And then when I joined Ethan's channel, he butchered it. Like, can you imagine getting a name that long and welcome to my new subscriber. And then I did it to Dan as well, and I realized, okay, I got to do something like they are not going to want to talk to me. So I just condensed it from Mad Kadar Ruthakar down to Mad Ruth, and then.
Oh dang!
Yeah, came up with it on the spot.
You'll probably touch on this a little bit later, but since you brought it up, the games you mentioned, you said Star Wars Galaxies, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Isn't that the MMORPG where you can start off as a moisture farmer, or you could be a smuggler, but
musician, yeah.
They saved things like being a Jedi till you got really advanced or something.
Originally, yeah, it took you a year to make it to a Jedi, and I tried to start. The quests are impossible. But as the MMO went on, all games get vanilla, and they just sort of made it so you could be a Jedi right off the bat. But yeah, in the beginning, it took you a year. Like, you wouldn't believe the kind of quests you had to do to achieve it. Really cool.
Wow. I mean, was it a like a lockdown 1 year minimum, or was it the fact that the way they spaced out all the quests?
Content and the quests, and you wouldn't get them right away, and you would just have to play along until you get to another one. It's just the time between and how long it would take to get it to happen. But you even had to be careful too, because if you revealed that you were a Jedi, like, everybody would announce to everyone, there's a Jedi, and they all swarmed to kill you, right? So,
oh man.
Yeah.
At one point, I was actually kind of interested in it. I thought it was a neat idea.
Mm-hmm.
But, everyone's so big on Jedi and Sith that, are people really going to get into being a moisture farmer? Yeah, I got a little drip of water out of this one. Let's move on to the next farm.
It was fun for a little while. I mean, same with Star Wars: The Old Republic. I played that for almost 10 years.
Aren't they trying to bring back Galaxies, or is that?
They created an emulator, so there is an emulator of it running.
Oh, okay. That's probably what I was hearing about.
Yep.
And Star Wars: Old Republic Online, I was into that for a while.
Oh yeah.
I'm usually something like why the Jedi.
Nice.
So did is that still around? Because I was looking for it a while back.
It is, but it turned into like The Sims, right? It all became about costumes and decorating your apartment, and it's more cosplay and stuff. They really let all the content go for the most part. Like they made a big announcement for the main villain coming back there, Darth Malgus. I got really excited. I came back after being absent for 2 years. The content was like less than 30 minutes, and then that was it. It's like, okay, all this hype.
Jeez.
And
That's
that
not
was it.
worth it.
No, that was it.
Damn, 30 minutes of content? Curse you.
Yeah. So yeah,
I recently
I just don't have.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't have time for video games anymore. You know, I'm too busy creating. So.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like you have to have this delicate balancing act. Otherwise, you could spend too much time in one area.
Mm-hmm.
I found that to be the case too, because if you really dig an MMO like I did when I was into WoW, when we started on the public beta, I was in that for like 6 years or something or longer.
Nice.
Yeah, so as a new guest to the show, I always like to find out a little bit more about the creator. So would you be so kind as to share what your quote-unquote origin story is? What kind of things were you into when you were younger, be it games, cartoons, toys, movies, music, and what are the major milestones that led you down this path to become an independent creator?
Oh boy, that's gonna be quite the journey. All right, so my journey begins actually in Toronto, Ontario. That's where I was born and raised originally. And then I grew up. However, all my family, all my aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, they all live in Iowa. My mom was born in Iowa, so she moved to Toronto. So there, I was flip flopping whether or not I was going to move to the States or not. And my grandfather really wanted one of us to take over the farm, but me and a couple of my cousins didn't. But yeah, I used to spend about 2 months out of every year at the family farm there in Iowa. But in any case, I would have to say, growing up, G.I. Joe was probably my main biggest influence. But I mean, I had all the G.I. Joe Season 1, Season 2 toys. He-Man, of course. You know, going back to all the old cartoons, right? You'd race home, you know, cops would be on TV. Transformers, G.I. Joe. Comics, then, I would say I first started collecting comics in 1985. My father actually gave me my first comic was G.I. Joe issue 50. I still have it. And then,
Nice.
And then I guess I was at some crazy party. Like, you're just a kid, but someone gave me a copy of Miami Mice #1. You know, something that you shouldn't have at that age. Oh, yeah, but those are my first 2 comics, and I still have both of them. But, you know, from there, a big Marvel fan, got into X-Men, Jim Lee's X-Men, Wolverine, collected G.I. Joe, you know, the Aliens, the Predator, the Terminator. You remember all those 80s comics that you could buy that were linked to all the movies? Big movie buff. Like, I've got a ridiculous amount of DVDs. Like, I've watched every movie that exists like 2 or 3 times. But, so, you know, Aliens, Terminator, Predator, Judge Dredd, and just loving all that. Huge Star Wars fan. You know, came out when I was a kid. The very first toys I remember is Millennium Falcon and you know, C3 PO and all that. Even Planet of the Apes toys had those. Lone Ranger toys had those growing up. So yeah, I'm fairly old school. But so keep on fast forwarding. You get to the 90s. Around 92, I switched over to just Image. You know, when Image came out, it was the rebel, it was the cool thing. They were fighting the mainstream. This story sounds familiar, right? You know? So I was totally, I bought into the Image fanboy, and you know, Extreme Studios, Spawn. I mean, you can name every Image title from the 90s. I would walk out of the store with everything that was on the rack. And I mean, I read Cyberfrog on the rack. Like, they would let me read in the store for 2 or 3 hours as long as I walked out with the stack. But I never bought it, right? But I read it in store. But so I collected Image religiously throughout the 90s to about 97, 98. And then, in any case, I joined the military in 1995. I joined the reserves, so I was still in Toronto, just hanging out there. And then we all know September 11th happened, and then I decided it was time for me to, grow up a little bit. So I signed on for a 20-year contract in 2002. I said, hey, I'll do 20 years for a pension. That's not bad. And in any case, found myself. Sorry, we can keep going. While I was in the military, 2005. That's when George Lucas made Revenge of the Sith, and he said there wouldn't be any more Star Wars movies. I don't know if you remember that. It was in time. It was like that was the end of Star Wars, right?
Oh man.
So that's when I got it in my head that there's going to be a gap in science fiction, and someone should write something. So I actually wrote. If you're to look at my comic book, the first 6 pages of my comic book I wrote as a novel back in 2005. Yeah, I remember too because Hurricane Katrina was going on, and then just as things get pushed off to the side and collect dust, I wound up in Afghanistan in 2006, 2007, and then Mass Effect came out. As you know, Star Wars: The Old Republic came out. Ended up in Afghanistan again, 2009, 2010. And I just put the whole concept of writing to, it's something I'm going to do when I retire. Like when I get out of the military, I want to be a writer when I get out. And then lo and behold, fast forward a little bit in time, you find me sitting in a theater with a big bag of golden popcorn and a nice big pop in my gloss sets, and I'm excited to see The Last Jedi. I'm sure, sitting there in the theater, all excited. And I had my spirits completely destroyed. You know what I mean? I got out of that movie pissed off. So that night I couldn't sleep. I was that angry about it. So I went on YouTube and I typed in "The Last Jedi sucks," enter, and I found the High Council. Right, that was January 2018. Right. So from there I was hanging out in the High Council, just chirping away. I don't know if you were in those chats back when.
Some of those.
But that's what kind of put the spirit back into me again about my story. But the whole time I was in the military, I didn't mention this. This universe I created was my escapism. It was the place that I would go to decompress from combat or just relax. You can't go anywhere. You're stuck in a hole or you're stuck in a turret and you're just staring. There's nothing else you can do. So in order to let your mind sort of wander, this is basically what I was imagining was this entire timeline of the trilogy of books that I kind of want to bring to you. So January 2018, I started watching Comic Artist Pro Secrets. You know how you go back to the origin of that? It shows you how to make a comic, shows you how to draw, shows you what materials to get. So I started paying attention to how do you make a comic, right? I read Making Comics. I read drawing comics the Marvel way, Stephen King on writing. So, doing as much research as I can because, I want to do this right. And when COVID happened, around the same time Ethan launched Rec Planet in 2020, I started drawing the original character sketches, which we'll see, like this guy back here. I started creating all this stuff. And then a family friend reached out to me because he was looking for some extra money, COVID, and he offered to draw the character sketches. So for 8 months, me and him sat down and we evolved those 8 characters exactly the way I wanted them to look. And then I asked him if he wanted to draw the book, and he said he can't dedicate. He's fine doing the character sketches, but he's like, I can't draw that whole book. So I started looking for an artist, and I ended up on Facebook. You know how Facebook's got those artists sort of looking for work. Mm-hmm. And I must have went through about 300 portfolios. There's even a couple artists in Comicsgate, but they were working on other books. But the one guy who resonated and stood out that I really liked his art was Gonzalo Loyola. He was like, He was at the top of the list. So I finally reached out to Gonzalo, and we got a page rate. We got talking. We started interacting, and we've become really good friends. Like we talk every single day, and we've been doing so for the past 2 years. And I can't explain the synergy that's between the two of us over the past 2 years, but this is our project. You know what I mean? Like he's just as passionate about this as I am. And starting in 2020, we just started working at a page a week, every week. And lo and behold, fast forward 2 years, here we are. So,
damn. Yeah. Sweet. Out of curiosity, going back to a couple things you mentioned, when you were in the military, stuck in a turret or a foxhole, did you occasionally come across, quote unquote, the enemy and actually envision them as characters from your comic book?
No, I'll be honest. No, like I still have some memories of combat, but I'll be honest, I blanked most of that out. You just kick into robot mode, and especially because I'm in a turret, everything's a green screen, everything looks like a video game. So most of the time it's just heat signatures, and most
Oh,
of the time, like you're just firing in a general direction and in a building and just hitting it with everything you got, right? So yeah.
and I don't know if it's something you can actually share, but how do you, if you're looking at heat signatures, how do you differentiate friendlies from the enemy?
So that's a very good question. So our first tour, we actually had an established kill zone. If you do the online research, you can look up something called Operation Medusa in 2006. So I was there for that. So we actually isolated where they were down in the Panjway Valley. There was about 2,000 insurgents, and they actually wanted to pick a fight with us. And they learned very quickly that conventional warfare is not the way to go. And then IEDs became very prevalent from there on. But yeah,
Right.
they basically went into a defensive position, and we found a bunch of battle positions around them. So it wasn't a problem. We knew where the established kill zone was. And after we bombed the hell out of them for a couple weeks, we sort of opened up the back and let anyone living get out. And then when we swept through, it was relatively easy to do. The biggest concern was explosives and booby traps and stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Do you get any opportunities to use drones?
So interesting thing, my trade was actually ground reconnaissance. So my trade is kind of obsolete nowadays. The drone has sort of replaced me. So it was sort of time to get out. So I could have taken drone courses and stuff, but again, I'm ground mounted reconnaissance, right? So I'm a bit of a dinosaur. It's time to retire. Yeah.
And when you leave the military, is it similar to? Would you liken it to a retirement?
Definitely retirement of a young man's game. Yeah, so it's kind of funny because people are like, you're retired? You're retired? Like, no, I retired from one career. I'm not finished yet, right? I'm just taking a bit of a break. I'm not even 50 yet. I'm approaching 50, right? So, life's been good to me. I'm very good with my money financially, flipping my houses, taking care of my postings,
Oh, wow, nice.
So yeah, I built all that myself. I started poor. I'm not an inheritance kid or, silver spoon or anything like that. I've earned every dollar that I have. But it's just finding myself in a position where I could afford to do this project. And when I finally said, I'm going to do this, I always said I was going to write when I got out of the Army. I've been telling people I was going to do it. I've got the money to do it. I did the research, and I said, come hell or high water, I'm going to make volume 1. And I'm just going to put it out there, and I'm going to see what people think of it. So, yeah.
Out of curiosity, have you talked to your buddies from the military, and did any of them express interest in joining up with you? And
for my book?
Yeah, or working on projects as well?
No, I'm kind of unusual. I'm unusual being the comic book reader sort of thing. Like I'd be the one who had him in his barracks box, and people come around, hey, can I borrow? Like I always, The Walking Dead, for example, the volumes, I had like the first 8 of them, I think, by 2006. Yeah, people were always borrowing those from me and reading them, bringing them back, and I'm running around. Where's my volume 3? Where's me? People, geek, so no. I'm kind of unique that way. Yeah.
So how long has SOLTAC been in the making?
So like I said, I started in 2020. I actually made that ash can there that you can see.
Oh.
So these are this is the ash can that I'm giving for free with every volume that I sell. But I'm going to change some of the graphics in here, make them a little more professional. But,
wow.
So this is where me and Gonzalo, this is the very first image we did of the character. And then obviously I write all the bios. This is the very first one that my friend Ben did. So you see what I'm saying, right? Even to color these things, I didn't know what I was doing, so I used pencil crayon, right? I colored them all in pencil crayon and gave them back to my artist. And he knew how to do it. So that's how involved I was. So these are all my main characters. So I had to flesh all these out, right? So that the artist knew that's the characters in the book. And these again are Gonzalo. We sat down and made the spaceships. We sat down and made the Shogun.
All right.
And then again, more characters. So this is a preview basically of what that 16-page ash can. Then these are the bad guys I created. Right, really cool. It's like half zombie, half android. Sort of cool looking. You can see all my inspirations, obviously, from movies. I don't want to list the whole names, but I think we have a good idea of the stuff that I'm inspired by.
All right.
But yeah, so once I did all that, and then again I put a lot of line art in the back of it. So once I did that, I had everything I needed to start making the book, and then keep going through process if you're curious. So this is the script. I actually, because I'm old school, right? I had to do a conventional script, and I had to learn how to write a comic book script.
Oh,
Luckily, Kurt Hathaway. I don't know if you know the name Kurt Hathaway. He's Black Flag's letterer. He was Dan's letterer. He's old Extreme Studios letterer from back in the day.
all right.
So he's been patient and very, very kind to me. So he had a look at my stuff, first 60 pages, taught me how to write, and basically go back, refine yourself, make something good, and come back to me, right? So he taught me how to do that, and again, I'm appreciative. So I did that in conjunction with my thumbnails, so you can see that.
Whoa.
So I wrote in my thumbnails, but it gets crazier than that. So my comic's already been drawn twice, right? Then I take my thumbnails, and then this is me drawing. So you see these every night, about 3 hours a night. I draw these things here, you see, and then I give these to my artist, and my artist between the script and these, and you'll see these pages and you'll recognize them. He knows exactly what to do every page, and then he runs off and he does his art, his flair on it, and he takes a hold of it and his passion, and then he comes back with beautiful pages, and that's how the magic happens. Yeah.
So did you ever make a version where you did all the art yourself? I know you got the thumbnails, but
nah, these are for reference. These are reference drawings. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. So.
Oh. All right, sweet. So actually, you know what? How about we try playing this first? I don't know if you classify it as a teaser, the shorter one of the two.
Mm-hmm. That's the promo that's on the campaign. So.
All right, let's see if this will play. Crossing fingers. Nice. It played beautifully on my end. What about yours?
It did. It was good to go. It's perfect.
Oh,
but
nice.
I originally had a 2-minute and 36-second trailer, and I was showing that around to people, and everyone's like, "You gotta no, right?" So it's actually Lord Crackhead and CG Talks, the Crack Pack, the DWAG. It's all them. It's like you got to get that down to like TikTok length, like 30 seconds, or the chat starts getting violent. So again, we went back to the studios and we cut a minute version of it, a 55-second promo, and a 30-second promo, 25-second promo, and that's the one that I put on the campaign. So
yeah. Sometimes I can get down with the longer promo, but I think generally speaking, you'll want something between 45 seconds and a minute, maybe at most a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it has to do with conveying the information about the book, the project, what the story is, and all that good stuff. So that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Did you make the trailer, or did someone else?
No, I got a lot of friends, again, a lot of IT experience and whatnot. So no, a really good friend of mine named Justin Godet, he said, "I think I could do that. I can take care of that for you." So, yeah, it's good to have good friends. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then for the music, it's actually copyright-free music. It's on YouTube. If you go over to White Bat Audio, he does dark synth music, and his whole entire channel has all the copyright-free music you can get. All he asks you to do is to credit him in the description. So,
how do you spell that?
White Bat Audio.
WhiteBatAudio.
Yeah, AUDIO. Yeah, White Bat Audio.
Oh, okay. Let me make a note of that. Just in case.
Oh yeah, his music's pretty cool. Like it's like 9 Inch Nails, like it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like something you might expect to hear in a video game, like Doom or Unreal Tournament.
Yep. Definitely.
In fact, I think, didn't they use Nine Inch Nails music for Doom or Wolfenstein? Well, actually, I think it might have been Doom.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So let's take a look at this cool-looking campaign here.
Okay.
So the trailer that's on the campaign site, is that...
That's the one you just played, yes.
Okay, all right, right on.
Yeah.
And then this looks like...
So that there, you don't want to hit play on that because you'll hear the cramps. The cramps like kick in right away. But that is a video. I have original art. So once we start scrolling through, that is, you will see all 8 original art tiers in that video and some sketches, and it gives people a good idea of what's in those if anyone's interested. So these are all promotional art that Gonzalo created for this campaign. So these are things we made something with a timer and stuff to share. A bit of a line art, that's the line art pulled out of the book to give people an idea of how detailed each one of these pages are. Like he spends a week on each page, right? So there's an idea of some of the artwork and colors, all of it from the book. Like, that's crazy. See all the panels going on in there? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had lots of fun. Yeah.
Slicing right through that. Looks like a riot shield.
Yeah. That's her threatening them.
It's like jade swords.
Yeah, well, we'll probably work on. They're basically power swords. So
Okay.
I envision like you could cut a freaking car in half, or you could cut a building in half. Like they're energy blades, right? Plasma energy blades, and their armor have battery packs and stuff. So that's where they draw the energy from.
So is there like in the Star Wars world, for example, you got lightsabers, but then you've got things like, I think it's called Beskar armor,
right?
or armor that Mandalorians use that's supposed to be theoretically lightsaber proof or resistant. Do you have something similar armor wise to counter?
No, I don't actually. So we're still in our solar system in 6,000 years. I don't give humans enough credit to go out in the galaxies. And then we could get into a long debate about light speed and how if you went somewhere in light speed and came back, everything would be different. Like, 100 years would go by the time you get back realistically, right? Because as you're traveling at light, time stops, but time around you continues. So I've got issues with galaxy travel, so we're just going to stay in the solar system sort of thing. But it's all based on our timeline, so it's not like a galaxy far, far away. It's actually human civilization in 6,000 years, and we've conquered the entire solar system. We've had a war with AI. We've mastered DNA, so we're creating our own creatures and our own life forms. Like that's where it kind of gets creepy because we populate various planets and stuff. We just create our own life, bioengineered. And you got to wonder with AI and the Terminators, right? Like, let's be honest, if AI ever existed, it would wipe us out. Like, it would kill us. So I had to come up with a reason why it doesn't kill us, and so forth. And this is all elements I put in my story, as well as why we haven't been able to encounter aliens and what's going in the greater aspect of the entire galaxy. So that's why I say my band of misfits. This is sort of the origin story about their lives. You learn about them. You learn about why they all have gotten together. You learn about this conspiracy that they've unraveled, and then they basically start to fight back. So that's pretty much this first 88 pages of interior story.
No, oops, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
I got to say, you're giving the human race a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays I look at what's going on in the world, and it's like clown world.
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder how the human race even survives.
Well, that's why I wanted to create something that's escapism again, right? Exciting, it's optimistic, it's 6,000 years in the future, so it's far enough you have enough freedom to just reinvent, what's happened in 6,000 years, right? So
nice. Excuse me.
There's all kinds of great things if you want to keep scrolling down. There's like I jam-packed this campaign. This isn't an empty campaign when you scroll through it. You'd be surprised all the stuff that's in here.
Now, so this is volume 1. Did I hear it right that there's you're looking at 3 volumes?
That would be my goal. I have this whole story in my head, and it's exciting to finally get it out after building it for 15 years. But yeah, my goal is, so I paid for this book out of pocket. I'm hoping with this book, it will pay for the next book. So if people think I'm taking this money or making it, no, this money I want to go into the next book. My artist is already like, when are we going to start the next one? When are we going to start the next one? And I told him, I said, look, I gotta make some capital back. I can't keep paying out of pocket. It was fine for me to do it on the first one to show everyone what I'm capable of and what I can bring to the table and what I can do. But this thing has to be, it has to be self-generating from here on in. You just can't keep throwing money at it. But that's the goal. That's the goal, hopefully.
A story about a bounty hunter, a neo samurai, and the fate of our solar system. So I noticed you have a fixed goal, $500. What made you decide to go with 500? That's kind of risky.
It is if you're not intent on making your book, but like I said, nothing was going to stop me. I'm printing this regardless, even if I have to sell it locally. So I've still got veterans groups. There's all kinds of marketplaces here. I think we got 2 comic book shops here, and I can go a couple towns each way, and there's a comic book shop in each of those. We have all kinds of festivals, and it's a very sort of conservative small town. There's 2 universities as well that constantly new students coming in, coming out. So if all I gotta do is sell 1,000 books and I've got enough to make the next volume, that's not an impossible number to achieve.
Okay.
And I've already sold 29 copies and I haven't even made the book yet, right? So
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very happy. Very grateful for every backer.
Did you do a pre-launch? The early email setup?
So I failed. I tried my best to sort of have a YouTube channel, and if anyone goes there is all kinds of silly videos. So for the past 2 years, I've actually been doing a video a month of my updates. And some people have been following my channel and some haven't. So if people really want to go back, you can go back 2 years and see my antics, and it's some pretty crazy antics in there. I get pretty drunk, but so I built that to 130 people. That's pretty good. You saw me on Twitter, about 1,400 people, but how long are you going to just keep working on the audience generation? Like at some point, we're all getting older, right? And so I understand. I didn't do what you should do for your social media. You've seen someone like Lord Crackhead. It's incredible. He's up to 3,000 subscribers now, right? But he put his focus and energy. Yeah, but he put his focus and energy on his YouTube, whereas I put my focus and energy on my comic book, right? So I'm prepared to accept that,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, if you scroll through here, there's all kinds of images. Pete Samedi, he put a couple challenges on. So for starters, he's like, if you're gonna put narrative, I want to hear about your story. So that entire blurb that you see there, 200 years, I can read that for you if you want.
Oh, sure.
So 200 years of war between man and machine has resulted in the solar system depleted of critical resources. Hades Vex and the AI Hive are exiled on Mars, and their AI siege weapons have been outlawed throughout the corporate order. Humanity's desperate attempts to travel amongst the stars have ended in catastrophic failure. With the Ronin saboteur Misha Atsu evading capture at the edge of the heliosphere, it is time to call in Dexter Barrow, the Merchant of Death, who once saved humanity from the brink of annihilation. When Dexter, the bounty hunter, agrees to subdue this elusive new threat, he discovers an ominous conspiracy involving sinister forces beyond the pale, and the fate of our solar system is once again in peril. I quickly, I threw that in. I was like, all right, Pete, I'll take that challenge. And I threw that in there. And then Pete also, he said he's tired of seeing campaigns without lettering, with just artwork or a poster. He says, nope, he wants to see lettering. So I said, okay. So I reached out to Kurt, and we quickly threw those lettering pages in that you'll see down there, which are right out of the book.
So he's basically looking to get a feel for how it flows, how the dialogue plays out.
Yeah. Well, just the characters, the concept, the idea, I think at this point it's pretty clear to people at this point what my book is about without revealing anything.
Well, that's good.
And I saved the best pages. So some people put their best pages in their campaign. I promise you, you have not seen anything yet. Not even close. The people who buy this book are going to be blown away.
And this is a graphic novel. You're looking at 88 pages of story plus 4 full-page art pages.
Mm-hmm.
Can be read as standalone or as part 1 of a 3-book trilogy. Nice, nice.
So if I don't get to the second book, it's still good. It's still a good enough story to stand on its own 2 feet. It's not
okay. Futuristic sci-fi mystery thriller, and your introduction to storytelling concept that You first began writing back in 2005 and evolving throughout your 26-year military career.
1995 doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, time literally does fly.
Yeah. So here you can see my lettering, you can see the panels, you can see the artwork. Yeah, I mean, you can tell we went all out with this book.
Now, are you specifically lettering or?
No, Kurt Hathaway is.
All right.
Yeah. I'm the writer, the creator, you know, the storyboards, all that stuff. But
Okay.
no, I went and hired the best artist, the best colorist, the best letter, the best editor, and again, when you scroll through, you'll see who my team is.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks legible.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so privileged and honored to be working with Kurt. I'm so grateful for him helping me. It's like getting an education on how to make a comic book, you know.
Yeah, anytime you can learn ways to improve your trade.
And this is my first book, you know.
Yeah. Damn, that's good.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, whoa! I love books with loaded with details.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you're going to charge someone $25, you better be giving them their money's worth. That's the way I see it, right? I created the book that I want someone to make for me. I'm creating a book that I have no doubt anyone who gets it, buys it, and reads it is going to feel they got their money's worth, definitely. And I can't wait for that feedback because that's going to be the big determination on if I make the next book. I'm hoping people say, like, this is the best book of the year. That's what I'm aiming for. That's pretty bold, but
well, there you go.
We'll see.
Yeah. But you gotta have the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, first off on this page, the thing that pops out, of course, is this spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
But then I look over here in the top right where you've got what looks like a possible, I don't know if it's a drilling machine, but it looks interesting.
No, it's the same spaceship coming out of the pipe.
Oh, okay. All right. And then my eye is somehow drifting towards the center panel.
Yeah.
Where you got the people in the spacesuits.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you're looking at all these details. And then you jump back to the large image and all the detail in the asteroid.
Gonzalo likes to draw, and I like to write, so. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Fast-paced, energized action adventure. Takes place 6,000 years in the future. Let me also drop another. That's the wrong one. One moment. Get this pasted in here. If you haven't already, please consider backing this campaign. It's looking really good from what I've seen so far.
Thank you.
And we're going to dig deeper into this as well. If by chance you've already backed it, consider backing it again. You know, we've got all kinds of events coming up. We've got birthday parties. We've got Christmas. Celebrations, anniversaries. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. And let's see, we got the future of science fiction here, obviously. And out of curiosity, how do you write? What's your style? I mean, do you write things out in an outline form, and then get a little more detailed, or do you try and write as though you're writing a novel?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So no, so luckily with the comic book, because I draw it out visually, all I do is I give chunks of dialogue detailing what each panel is. So even though I'm drawing, it's kind of redundant, but at least it keeps me on track. And then I'm playing the story in my head as I'm looking at each page like a piece of real estate, right? So it's how much story do I want to tell on this page and how many panels do I have to do this? And even Gonzalo, we get in, not in a war, but he'll look at the page and he'll be like, that's repetitive, that's repetitive. He likes to crunch down those panels. So I originally I was drawing like 9-panel pages. He's like, no, I can do this in 6. And then we'll go back through that page. Does it follow what it needs to do in the real estate we have with the 6 panels? Yep, good. And I go, okay, good to go, draw that. And that's just how we do it. Now with the dialogue, like this is the big issue with books, right? Is when one person writes his book and nobody edits it, you get a horribly written book. So in order to polish the script, I wrote it. Kurt went through and he did all kinds of editing notes. I took it back. My wife, again, university education, she edited it. Her another good family friend of ours edited it. And then when we get down our production team, I hired Red Valkyrie. Both of them edited my book, and then it still goes through me again, and then it still goes through Kurt when he letters it. That's how many people have been editing the dialogue. That's how much we've been turning and polishing and perfecting the dialogue in the book.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
But with so many editors,
Mhm.
do you encounter any issues whereby one editor's feedback overrode a previous editor's feedback?
What's wonderful about the production, the team I have, everyone it's a suggestion. I suggest you do this. I suggest you do that. Nobody's telling me I must do this. But at the same time, I've been in the Army long enough. I know the best way to build teams is if somebody has a better way of doing it, you do it, right? So 90% of the suggestions from everyone I took and I put in the book because they were brilliant. So there was no need for that, right? It's like, that is good. And yes, I agree. It's very easy, right?
So after you had all those passes made and
Yeah.
you implemented the changes you thought were necessary to make it a clean.
Well, to crunch down that dialogue, like you see how much writing there are in those pages. You wouldn't believe how much condensing pull this out, and you're still seeing pages that are full of writing. So you could imagine.
Yeah. That's a huge thing when it comes to the comic book medium.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about show, don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything you're like, the big two seem to spend a lot of time with exposition nowadays.
Yeah. There's panels in there where I was told, hey, just take the dialogue out. It reads better with just the artwork. Okay, good enough. I agree. Yeah.
Nice.
No, yeah. I'm so thankful for the team I had. I can't say that enough. But this was a collaborative effort. No way am I taking credit for all of this. I hired a great team.
Awesome. Let me see here. So you answered my other question. It is perfect bound.
Yep.
Yeah, with that many pages, it's got to be at least perfect bound.
So I kept telling people. So I don't know if you backed Kyle Ritter's Starblades.
I did.
So my book is 1 sheet less than his for thickness. That's how thick it is. Yeah.
All right.
He's got 96 pages. I got 92.
Yeah, because 1 sheet is 4 pages.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. 4 full-page art plus a cover. 48-page sheet count. Color graphic novel. Part of a 3-part story. Blood and ink. Line art graphic novel.
Yeah, so for that, even me being as crazy as I am, so my blood and ink version, if you think Frank Miller, if you think 300, reading those, that's what my line art is. All the blood is in red.
Oh, nice.
We're even going to go through and accentuate the red, make it a bit more gritty, a bit more raw. So when you're reading that line art book, it's going to be kind of horrific, and that's kind of, it's going to be a totally different experience and give you a reason to read the line art book on top of the color book.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you have a book that's black and white and it's got a splash of a color like red in this case, and you send it to the printer, it's considered like the same as if you do full color, right?
That's correct. They're charging you for a colored book.
Gotcha.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that style, like Sin City, is really sweet. I like it a lot.
And what surprised me with this campaign is that line art book is actually as popular as the color, and I didn't think it would be. So,
well, yeah, I mean, depending on the the finished product, sometimes, people like to see the fine details of the art that is sometimes kind of hidden or clouded by adding colors. So I can see why a black and white would be as popular in some cases.
And the only red is the blood. I'm not making the armor red or anything. Just strictly the blood is in red. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
16-page sheet count, half issue ash
And
can.
you saw me flip through that already. So.
And it is physically in dimensions smaller, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Height
Ash
and-
cans.
All right.
Yeah, I forget what they are. I got a ruler here. What's this thing again? It's 8.5 by 5.5. So standard issue ash can.
Nice. All right. So we got that. Wait, let me see something here. Oh, yeah. Color scheme, names, biographical information, character designs.
That's in my ash can.
Nice. Sons of Strife interior page.
Yeah, that's one of the 4 interior pages. It's also in the half issue, but it's also in the book as well, right? Because look at that beautiful page. I'm not going to not put that in the graphic novel.
Yeah.
So it goes where it's applicable in the story. So.
Is your artist traditional, digital, or both?
So he goes both. Yeah. So he's down in Chile. He's Chilean. So so what he likes to do actually is he'll pipe in the internet. Me and him will talk. He'll download what he needs to do on his tablet, and then he just goes offline with his tablet. He goes off and hangs out, and does his own thing and draws. And when he needs to, he comes back online. Yeah. So he enjoys doing that. He loves traveling and drawing. But he draws. Sorry to answer your question. He draws both traditional and digital. So there's a mix of each throughout this book, and I don't know which of his are traditional, and I don't know which are digital. I can't tell, but I do know he works both. He's had power outages where he had to just draw by hand, and
Yeah, you do what you got to do.
yeah.
Stretch goals, add-ons that every single backer will receive for total funds raised. You've already unlocked your first stretch goal. That's sweet.
Yeah. Stickers,
1K, 2 Mad Ruth stickers. Oh yeah, your logo.
Yeah. It'll be like this, but I'm going to turn them more into a rectangle. This is a square. And I'm going to
hold on a minute. Let me.
It's not that great, but, and I'll get rid of the white edges, so I'll turn it more into a rectangle. Sort of squeeze it a little better into a skull. But yeah, that's
okay.
Get 2 of those, a black one and a red one.
Cool.
That was for hitting 4 figures. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Excuse me. At 5K, first trading card will be unlocked for every backer.
You still got me full screen too, by the way.
Oh, whoopsie. Thanks for letting me know. All right. So we've got.
Yeah, those are the trading cards. Sorry, I'm not gonna keep making you flip. Same thing. It's just everyone knows I got all my add-ons made. See, those are my trading cards. I'm gonna fix the backs, but you see them on the screen.
Wait, let's see that again.
So here's my trading cards.
So all the add-ons are already made?
Yeah, I've already designed them. I'm gonna change the backs though. If I make more money, me and Gonzalo might make new backs. But yeah. Oh yeah, I've been busy for 2 years.
Yeah. Seriously.
Just having fun.
What would you change on the backs?
I just don't like the designs. People got more of the Marvel style. They'll have like a picture of the character, and then they'll have stats so they can use their card more for playing games and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to change it. But we'll see. Well, it depends how much money, Everything costs money.
Oh, for sure. So we've got 10K second trading card unlocked, 15K third trading card. Do you envision one day having like a role-playing tabletop game?
No, I'm not that far along.
All right. Third trading card at 15K, fourth at 20K, at 25K milestone goal. Fifth trading card is unlocked for all backers.
And then that automatically forces us to make volume 2. So I was sort of trying to incentive to buyers. If you want to guarantee volume 2 happens, 25K, I officially say volume 2 is coming. If I 100%, that's I tell
Nice.
I greenlight the team. We're making volume 2 because that's how much money I need between print costs and getting
Gotcha.
started on the next one.
Oh, sweet.
So one way or the other, I'm going to find a way to get the money. We'll see. It's a question of how many years it's going to take me. But,
right.
or if I got to launch a second chance campaign or whatever I got to do, right? So.
Yeah, most definitely. If it surpasses the 25K milestone goal, this is probably what you were just explaining. There are an additional 3 trading cards available along with the various prints and a bookmark that will be added as stretch goals for every single backer should this campaign go beyond expectations.
At the same time, I'm modest enough to know for a brand new creator, a good benchmark is 100 backers and $7,000. I mean, we've seen enough of these campaigns. That's kind of where I gauge success: $7,000 and 100 backers. So that's my honest expectation. But you have to aim high, right?
Sure. Obviously, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've come across so many campaigns, and as a lot of them, you're lucky if you get a couple grand
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of campaigns. Some of them don't even fund, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But
put all that work in.
Yeah, part of it is the promotion, and you've really got to push to get out there and get known, get seen.
And I understand these things. I wish we get all these people all the time. These come up with this new book. All of a sudden they're excited. Comics greatest, woohoo! And then they release this book and it doesn't do well. And then they start playing the blame game. It's everyone else's fault that I didn't do well. And then they start pointing fingers and screaming. And then they hang out outside of Comicsgate calling us names, right? It took those pros 30 years to build that reputation, to grind away and to build that name. Or like Eric July's, he's been making videos for 15 years to build that. And this all ties into this new generation thing where everybody wants everything overnight, right?
Yeah.
There's people seeing me for the very first time, right? So just the fact that my campaign has had 500, 600 people visit it, that's okay. Maybe they don't trust me enough on this book, but once people do get this book and people do say you missed out, maybe the next time they'll come in if I can get to volume 2, and then maybe they'll be a customer then.
Yep. Let me see here. All right, so then you break out the creative team. Craig White, creator, story, layout. Gonzalo Loyola, art, inks, and colors. Alonzo Espinoza, colors. Shane Cooey, flats. Kurt Hathaway, letters and pre-press. And Red Valkyrie, editors. So were all the editors leading up to Red Valkyrie like unofficial editors, like proofreaders and whatnot? Okay.
Yeah. So my wife didn't charge me money, my family friend didn't charge me money, and then there's me, and then like I said, Kurt first looked at the script and said, he didn't say go away and then come back, but he gave me enough stuff that come see me when you're getting near the end of the artwork, and you really need to make this script a lot better. So Red Valkyrie definitely put the final touches, so to speak, on it. But even then, Kurt Hathaway still, as he's lettering, because he knows how much space and how much real estate he has, so we still have to condense just a little bit more when he does the lettering, and he still, this isn't grammatically correct, and he still offers his own points, and I'm not going to turn down that wisdom and that knowledge.
Right.
So, he's been lettering comics for 30 years. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I should hope so. SOLTAC. Oh my god. I just noticed these little, what are they, bear creatures?
Yeah, they're little
Like,
flying squirrel ferrets, cybernetically. You know, they got half metal and they got all fangs, and their eyes
yeah.
are, and they fly. They launch off your shoulders and they come at you as he's shooting at you. Oh
Well, that's different.
yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
Dreamed up a lot of funny stuff. They speak too in three word. I don't know if you want to call it sentences, but they only speak 3 words each at a time. Yeah.
Cool. This journey cannot continue without your support.
Very much so. Yes.
Heavy lifting is done. 16-sheet ash can and all the add-ons are ready for print. Pencils and inks for 88 pages of story are already complete. Yeah, 88 pages of story. That's an undertaking.
To put that in perspective, Von Klaus's book is 144, I believe, and John Malin's Graveyard Shift Omega is 140. Those are the two biggest books in Comicsgate. So 140, I'm not quite at 100, but 88 is still pretty impressive.
I think the biggest that I've ever heard of might be Death, which I think is clocking in around 300.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. It's it's like, whoa.
So what's that? You don't know what that's retailing for, do you?
No, unfortunately. Let me.
That'd be curious.
Let me check something here.
Because I'm still selling mine for 25, even at the size it is, which is what Von Klaus sold his for as well, was 25 for Monster MD.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a good deal. I want this to be a good deal for people, you know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
But yeah, I've seen the trailer for Death. I mean, I mean, you can't describe. The artwork is brilliant. I love that intricate line art, that detailed line art that shows you that somebody put the time into what they're crafting. Yeah, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, that's why I so enjoy Ethan's work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Death is by John Ball is in demand.
Yeah, I'm definitely a '90s comic book when people, it was all about the detailed line art.
Okay, so let's see, color line art manga 3-pack, $85. 300 plus story interior pages.
That's crazy.
That's That's passion.
Yeah. Well, that's if you took Monster MD, 2 copies of Monster MD, and stacked them on top of each other, it'd still be even thicker than that. Holy smokes!
Seriously, it's crazy. But I'm real excited for you on this venture. This is pretty sweet for our first out the gate project, and of course you put in a good 3 years to get to this point.
There's also 2 in this campaign. If you go over to the updates, I also, every time I update my campaign, I also give away a little something more for people to see. So if you go to those,
really, okay. So should I start by looking at the first update or start?
Yeah, it's okay if you show that. So that's the line art cover. Once you scroll down to that, so I can talk about that. So that's the PG version of the cover, okay? Because this is Indiegogo. If I made it look the way it looked, some pesky person could complain about it. So if you imagine blood coming out of people's noses and those knuckles covered in blood and the floor saturated with blood, that cover is going to have a lot of blood elements added to it when it gets to the final. It's going to be messy.
Oh, okay.
But I left it out for obvious reasons because this is Indiegogo. And I think I explained that in the update, that this will be a lot more bloody when it comes to the final version. And then if you scroll down...
I was about to say, the not safe for work, are the titular characters going to be nude?
Yeah. There is a bit of scantily cladness in my book, for sure. So there, if people are looking at what the page count is, because there was some confusion between 48 and 92, I actually laid out the whole book right there, so people can look at that, and that is from cover to back cover how many pages there are going to be. So there it is.
Wow.
That was my print file at the time. For my
Dang.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Huh. Very cool. Let's see. Just need to color 30 more pages, letter 40 more pages, work on each of the line art pages for blood and ink, customizing blood effects and the lettering, final editing, pre-press, then off to print.
Mhm.
Doing everything you could to get the book to the printers before the end of 2022.
Hoping to have estimated delivery March 2023, so it's not that far away. Yeah. I came out the gate swinging.
Hell yeah.
You know, not complaining about late books. I get it. Everyone does their own thing, but I very much I want people who back this to get it as close to 6 months down the road to be like, holy smokes, this guy came out of nowhere and I got my book already.
Yeah.
And that's not me being I'm special or nothing. Not just just a one-time thing.
Yeah, but
people get confused. They think you're trying to tell people how it's. I'm not telling anyone how. Every creator does whatever they want to do, and I'm just doing what I want to do. Just want to make that clear.
You do what works for you, what fits with your campaign.
And I only have so much time in the day that I couldn't imagine trying to draw these and stream at the same time. I don't know where these guys find the time. Like, I'm an old man. I have to spend time with my family. I have to nap. Find 3 hours to this, and then I'm supposed to stream too. So this worked for me, getting all the hard work out of the way first before I started, put it available.
Absolutely. You think you're old, man? How about me?
Well, we're all getting old, so.
I'm. Let me see. This is October. In about a month, just over a month, I'm going to be freaking 50.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you got me beat by a couple of years. Not many, but...
It doesn't even feel like it. Weird.
I'll be 47 in a couple months.
So. If only to be 47 again.
My brother does this to me. He's got me beat by 6 years, so I'm always the pup, right?
Well, it's like one of my best friends. He his birthday is about 7-8 months ahead of mine. So for a short time, I can say I'm the younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm the younger between us two.
He's the old man. Yeah.
Yep. It's the running joke. So let's check out these cool tiers. Oh, you know what? Do you think maybe we should take a moment to play the longer clip?
Yeah, you want to try that? That's exciting, and anyone who's watching this, pretty much this will be the first time that video has been shown on a stream. So.
Huzzah! Yeah. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's hard to say which one's better, eh?
Yeah. So was it made by the same person?
Yep.
Your one friend?
Yep.
All right.
He made the 236, and then from all the feedback, he's like, all right, I'll make one in a minute, and I'll make one at 25 seconds. So he made me the 3 videos between working an IT job, much like yourself. So.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, in IT, but I'm not the type who ever got around to learning how to make trailers and stuff.
Mhm.
I'll probably get there someday.
He actually used to also on the side be a computer repair person. So he also taught me how to take apart a gaming computer and replace. It's really simple to do it once somebody shows you how to do it.
Sure,
So yeah,
yeah.
he knows software. He knows hardware. He's one of
Wow.
those great friends you want to keep.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And your friend starts asking, "Well, did he turn it off and turn it back on?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so let's check out these awesome tiers here. So we got a feature tier, which I always love to see on a campaign because it's typically kind of like capturing what the campaign is all about, what the product is, what the book is all about. And it's not the cheapest campaign, not the cheapest tier, it's not the most expensive, usually somewhere in between. And oftentimes you get like a little mix of a few products.
So what's beautiful about this? So I'm in Canada. People don't know. So there's an extra $10 on shipping. Everyone says that's really discouraging people from my campaign, but I can't understand why. Because if you think about it, so this is 45 plus 20 shipping. So for 65 US dollars, you get 2 books and an ash can. I think that's pretty good for 65 myself.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah. I think maybe I could be wrong, but I think what people are looking at is the ratio of how much the shipping is versus the cost of the book.
Right.
And they're looking at it from that perspective, but they shouldn't, because they really ought to be looking at the value you get from 2 books, one in full color, one in black accented with red blood, and plus the addition of the ash can. It is still very affordable and reasonable.
Mm-hmm. And it's all about, I want to get this book in as many people's hands that are interested. If you want this book, I want you to read it. I want everyone to read it.
Yeah. And then next one is the physical book itself, right?
Yep, just the color version. But it still comes with the ash can.
Yeah. I was about to say, you got the ash can still. Then we've got SOLTAC Blood and Ink Volume 1. So, all right, wait a minute. So it looks like the difference is that's the black and red
That's
one.
the color, and the other one's the line art, yeah.
All right.
And if you click them, it says it all in the description, too. But.
Nice. Ooh, cool. You got a retailer tier. 5 copies, SOLTAC. I know there's a lot of talk where retailer tiers right now aren't all that popular, but I think in the long run, they're worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I'm thinking I should have put an extra one on there and made it 6 or something. But if someone really wants this retailer tier, DM me. We can work out something. Yeah, whatever I can get someone to back the book.
I mean, when I can and when it's available, I like to grab retailer tiers, even though I personally don't own a comic shop. Not only is it kind of like a long-term investment, but it's also because, well, part of it is also to support the creator. And I figure one of these days, as I grow my channel, I might do giveaways. And with extra copies that I have of various retailer packs, I can use those as giveaway prizes and get them into more people's hands that might not otherwise have come across it.
It's very cool.
Let me see.
This is where it gets interesting. 8 original pieces of art. So, like I said, the original 11 by 17 that Ben Steamroller did. If people go back and watch that video, I'm actually holding the full 11 by 17 comic. So they get the original pencil and ink art. 11. They also get a print 11 by 17. They get both books. They get the ash can. They get all the prototype stuff. And then in those ash cans, the prototype ones, Ben Steamroller put an original sketch. Here, I can hold this up to you for you again. The very last page here, basically like Ethan did when he first did Blood Honey. Ben also included an original sketch on the inside back page of the version ones, and then me and him signed the bottom. So you get all the prototype stuff, you get all the prototype cards, you get all the prototype stickers, you get the 11x17 original, you get the print, and then you get both books, and then you get the stretch goals. So for $225, I think that's a pretty good deal.
Holy moly!
Yeah. You still got me full screen too?
I'll take you off in just a second.
That's all good. It's all good. Yeah. But yeah, I see a lot of these art pages going for $200, $300, and it's just the art page, which again is just fine. But just so people understand that that's going to come as a massive package.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a lot of campaigns you'll only get the original art itself.
Yeah, nothing else.
But you know, I find it extra special when you get the other stuff accompanying it that's related to that original art piece.
So it's a one of everything. Everything that I made for this campaign for myself is in that box, plus that original 11x7. So if you scroll through, you'll see all eight for the original art tiers, and I actually sold one of them.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And what's cool too is Ben gets a little piece of each of these. So I already paid him obviously for the drawings, but I told him to part of that price is to compensate him for drawing the original characters for my IP.
Nice. Dexter version 3 art tier.
So he's got 3 sets of armor. He starts off as a bounty hunter there.
Oh, all
and
right.
then part of the story, part of his cover, whatever, he has to join SOLTAC, which is the name of the book. So that's like his police officer issued uniform there. Now that's great and all, but he needs a spacesuit. Plus, we talked about the swords, right? Like to fight the swords. So that's beefed up armor that, it's more combat. He can take some shots, could potentially take some sword swings and survive. And then that also turns into a spacesuit, right? So he needs to be able to go out into space. So that's why he's got 3 versions of his armor.
Wow.
And that's Misha Atsu's armor. One of a kind, one only. Like, if this IP ever is to blow up and become big, like, that would be the original drawing for that character. The very first time that character was ever drawn. Right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm. And that's Daishido, like her guard, her personal guard that goes everywhere with her.
Oh, all right. Nice.
And Giles. So I had an orangutan in my story back in 2005. That's my story next to it. But no, seriously, he's a co-pilot, and sort of if you're drawing from everything, like I drew from Escape from New York, Aliens, The Borg, Star Wars, Planet of the Apes, like I said, I'm a big movie buff, and I threw it all in there, right? So he's the co-pilot, right? Dexter needs a co-pilot and a best friend. So
yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Like the Chewbacca. He's like my Chewbacca.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say.
And then these are the AI horde. I talked about, the AI machines would rise up, and there was a big war that happened for 200 years. There's been a peace treaty, and then, they're very evil, and they don't like humanity very much. But he's like half zombie, that one. Half zombie. Like his flesh is rotting off. And so,
oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, my. Let me see here.
And that's the one that sold 0. Yeah. Someone in Texas. Thank you very much.
0 art tier. Wow. That is cool. I like. I always enjoy campaigns that leave the stuff that's sold.
Yeah.
Because not only do I get a chance to see what kinds of cool tiers were made available, but it also is a reminder like, hey, you screwed up, dude. You missed out on this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mess up again on the next campaign. Oh, that's so cool. Man,
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. This is
Oh, thank
cool.
you. Yeah. And I mean, I'm only, what, 5 days? It says 54. I mean, we just rolled the clock, but I'm only 5 days in for a brand new creator who no one's ever heard of. So
That's another thing. So you decided to go a solid 60 days.
that's kind of my. I would have done the 30. I didn't know how to do it, so I just typed
Oh,
60.
okay. All right.
I could have
Yeah,
probably went
because
back and edited, but yeah.
a lot of confiscate campaigns, there's a tendency to do.
Yeah, they like to get near
First
the
30.
30, and then they start playing the panic that, oh no, I'm not going to be funded. And then, oh, I'm
Whoa!
funded. And all of a sudden I got another 30 days. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I guess it wasn't as much of a panic as you were pretending it was. Yeah, I'm not interested in playing that game, I'll be honest. I
Yeah.
get it. It's salesmanship.
Yeah.
I'm fooled that I'm just too honest and upfront, and and maybe I'll learn. I don't know.
But it's also, yeah. It is. It's one of those things. In one way, I guess you could call it a necessary evil, just to help with
Drum up.
sales. But at the same time, yeah, I see your point about being transparent and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But even when you know it's all marketing, sales, it,
And it works. That's what it
yeah,
works. You can't deny that
there's
it doesn't work. It does.
of course, I don't know if you've been seeing the stories. Some campaigns, and I don't know if it's particularly specific to CG types of campaigns, but they seem as though Indiegogo's kind of not really muting them, but almost shadow banning them.
Yeah. So we've looked at a lot of them, and a lot of them. Yeah, Indiegogo hired a team, and I don't know why they did this. So these people now it's on their payroll to hurt the creators because that's what they're collecting their paycheck for. So if you have like words like sexy in your campaign, they won't promote it. If you have somebody reports or it's identified that you have nudity or some sort of nudity, they won't promote it. Which people say that doesn't make sense. You also sell sex toys, but there's no nudity with the sex toy. But if your images are promote violence or nudity, Indiegogo, they won't necessarily take your campaign down, but it won't trend. It won't show up in anything. You have to specifically go to the query and type the name of the book, and that's the only way to get there. And yeah, it's junk what they're doing. So that's hurting sales. That's Indiegogo hurting sales. Number two is that stupid tip feature that they put on.
Oh my gosh,
So
yeah.
right before checkout, Indiegogo hits you with a 15%. So people see that paycheck and I'm out of here, and they run. If that tip wasn't there, I guarantee that price number right there would be a lot higher. I would have sold a lot more copies. So again, thank you, Indiegogo, for that 15% tip. You're also hurting your business with that stupid feature as well.
No doubt.
But they put out a survey, and everyone who's gotten that survey has complained, has been like, this is the dumbest thing. But hey, Jason's in the chat.
Yeah, speaking of the survey, I heard it was going around, and I definitely want to check them out myself and respond because
it's hurting us. It's hurting us. That 15% tip.
Yeah, and but fortunately, Jason loves you.
Yeah. Jason backed me again. I tell him all the time how grateful and how appreciative I am. Thank you.
Yeah, that's most important to earn Jason's love. Yeah, so I'm like all for giving Indiegogo feedback, and I even give them suggestions on how I think they could improve their interface and the organization, but they don't seem to want to listen.
Why would you hire gatekeepers? I don't understand. Like, why are these companies hiring gatekeepers?
Some people theorize that it all started around when they made that agreement to team up with GoFundMe.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. Yep.
Yeah, and GoFundMe is also known for censoring and destroying specific types of campaigns that they don't agree with. So I have a hard time supporting GoFundMe as a platform.
Mm-hmm.
And
we had a big thing in Canada. You heard that, where they had all that money for the protesters, and then they just seized all the funds and shut it all down. It's like, oh yeah.
I hope everyone got refunded, because that's freaking a joke that they ended that campaign.
Well, I don't even know if they revealed. Did they reveal the backer information to the Canadian government? Like, how sketchy are these companies? You know.
Yeah, no telling.
Yeah.
Welcome, LDG. What's up? Hey. Good to have you all. Very, very cool. I dig the campaign. You put a lot of work into it, and it shows.
Thank you.
And let's take a look at these images again on the campaign.
Sure.
Looks like we have some more people coming into chat, so I'm thinking maybe there was a major stream or something earlier today.
Yeah, there's a couple running the same.
That just ended.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's welcome, of course. And so on, we can go over that later. But got this cool imagery. Digging the art.
Gonzalo loves to draw. Like, you can see his passion. It shows.
Yeah. I like that there is a full book in full color, and then another book in black and white with red blood accent.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell with all the action shots that there's many opportunities to include blood.
Yeah. Yes, there will be blood. Yeah.
There will be blood. So did you mostly come up with the designs for the spaceship yourself, or did you leave that kind of nebulous and left it more for the artists?
So the Hades Vex, definitely, like I said, it had 2 tours in Afghanistan. So if you go back to those spaceships, you'll notice so at least that one, they look like spiders. So one ship's called the Spider, and the other ship's called the Scorpion. It's got a big cannon that basically like a scorpion's tail and fires the cannon. So I designed those. The friendly ones that are more jet style, I left that up to Gonzalo to design those too. So
sweet,
yeah.
Very cool. And all right, let's go ahead and play once more the longer of the clips, the one that is premiering here first. WyzGyz exclusive. And let's check it out. Only on Indigo.
Yeah. For now. Yeah. Until someone comes up with something better. Yeah.
Yep. Very, very cool. Are there any other things that we might have missed, haven't yet covered, that you wanted to go over?
No, I think that was pretty good. It was very thorough. Thank you so much for spending so much time and going through the whole campaign. That was awesome.
Oh, my pleasure. That's what this channel is all about. I like to take some time to get to know the creator and look at some of the nitty gritty, because I'm a detail-oriented person. Mm-hmm. Anyone who has not yet had a chance to back this campaign, please consider backing it. This is a worthy project. I really dig it, and it's definitely, you can see all the work you put into it, and you know he's gonna deliver. He's very close to actually getting it sent to the printer too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another bonus. Let's get that, the total number of backers and the total amount raised up there, and start breaking some more of these stretch goals. If you haven't had a chance to back it, please back it. You're definitely not going to regret it. If you've already backed it, remember, there's always opportunity to give them it away as gifts. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. Why don't you? If you can't presently afford to get it, please consider getting it later, or share the campaign far and wide all over your social medias. It's greatly appreciated. I wanted to give you the floor, Mad Ruth. And would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
Sure, absolutely. So again, everything you said, I'm looking forward to getting this book into every backer's hands. I can't wait, trying to get it to the printer by the end of this year. And I'm trying to deliver early. I want to be one of those campaigns that delivers early. I'm aiming for March 2023. So I know the campaign says June. That's just to buy myself the window of time. But again, if you want to follow me, my whole entire journey of creating this book, you can find me, Mad Ruth, on YouTube. I've got some pretty funny, ridiculous videos in there. If you're really bored, my videos are usually about 30 minutes. If you want to catch a couple of those on my channel, Mad Ruth. You can find me, Mad Ruth, on Twitter, on both my PG sort of Twitter channel, Mad Ruth Comics, which is just strictly promotion, or me beaking off to people and just, using Twitter as therapy. And you know how it is, right? You get in the little scuffles and all that stuff, and just having fun and being ridiculous. You can find me, Mad Ruth, on Twitter. I hope people know I'm just clowning around on Twitter. I'm never serious. I love everybody. I want to be friends with everybody. I'm all good, and I'm just having fun. I'm just clowning around. But you can also find me on Facebook, Craig White, and I'm not entirely sure what my Instagram is, but yeah.
But it's probably Mad Ruth.
I think it is, yeah. I think it's Mad Ruth 1. I think it's the first. So.
Nice. All right. You can find me at my usual haunts. Well, that's funny. Being October and close to Halloween. I'm on Twitch at WyzGyzEntertainment, all one word. And on Twitter, rather, at WyzGyz Tweets. You can find me on YouTube under WyzGyzEntertainment. It's 2 words. WyzGyz is the first word, and entertainment's the second word. Make sure WyzGyz is 1 word. Otherwise, it'll be hard to find. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Mark the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video or stream. I wanted to thank everyone for joining us and checking out SOLTAC. Thanks to everyone in chat. You guys are freaking awesome. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. And thanks to our very special guest, Mad Ruth.
Thank you for having me.
We shall see you on the next stream or video. Have a great night. Bye. I said, what? Bye.
It's the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube channel. How you doing? Welcome to the show.